Why do adults find it so difficult to learn languages? Because the prefrontal cortex inhibits this emotion-driven learning, which is the most effective form of learning. And that's the reason why these behaviors are so difficult to change, because they're embedded in what's known as implicit memory or procedural memory. So the way to change it is with time, through gradual interpretation. We'll see transference, countertransference, interpretations, to bring them to the conscious, and the patterns of behavior change over time. So the way you could bring in psychodynamic formulations is you can talk about it as trauma's present, there's a loss of valued object. Think about what are the predominant coping styles that they've used. Often you'll see externalizing ways of meeting their needs. Relationships that are unhealthy, for example, substances, food, sex. Internalizing ones could be perfectionistic tendencies, withdrawals, right? Those are sort of the coping strategies. And then you're looking at linking and identifying whether you can see any repeated patterns of dysfunction, repeated patterns of behaviors that are resulting in dysfunction. And of course, the capacity for attachment. This part takes time. So if you have to think about this consciousness from the part of a language, how long would it take us to learn the language as an adult? It takes time. Because you see, I could go to language school, cognitively learn, rote learn, and there's evidence that in adults, prefrontal cortex actually inhibits a certain form of learning. It inhibits the procedural form. That's what makes it so difficult. So what's the best way of learning a language? To live in the country, right? Because action and emotion, we're forced to speak. It's all about the striatum. And that's usually how language is consolidated, through action. And that's why enactment in psychodynamic psychotherapy is important, where we combine the therapy with ensuring that they have the enactment happening in their real life as well, and looking at those changes. Because it's not just about cognition, it's about the actual behavioral aspects. So as I mentioned, it's about procedural memory change, because this declarative memory is what we learn, rote learning, remembering, etc. There are other structural models as well you can consider, but again, these are all semantic, so you can use any words you want. You can use self-perception. Their self-perception is fragmented, for example, which links to the splitting. You can talk about self-regulation, self-soothing. Their predominant modes of self-soothing involve external mechanisms, medication, substances, other individuals. So we know in the borderline construct, many individuals require other individuals to self-soothe. Maturity of defenses. Are they operating predominantly with one defense, projective identification or splitting, right? Are these mature defenses that they're using, or primitive? Object perception. How do they view the objects? And this is all unconscious, of course, but hate, anger, and this is recognized through countertransference. Ways of communication, predominant ones. Again, are the predominant ways of communicating through pain or distress or anger or hate, and capacity for attachment. And this is seen through history taking.